Here she comes. There's clapping.
Jessica McClure is up. She's alive. What a fighter.
Here she comes, right getting ready to go to the hospital.
Jessica McClure was only 18 months old when she disappeared while playing in the backyard. Her family searched for her frantically until they heard a tiny voice coming from underground. Jessica had fallen into an abandoned well.
Jessica! Jessica!
The well dropped 22 feet below ground and was so narrow that Jessica got wedged with one leg pinned above her head. Emergency responders faced a major challenge. The well was too narrow for anyone to fit through it.
They started to lower flashlights and call to her and figure out if she was even still alive.
They were relieved to hear Jessica singing the Winnie the Pooh song to herself, confirming that she was conscious.
Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh.
Rescuers eventually decided to dig a parallel shaft, then drill sideways to reach Jessica. But their jackhammers were designed for downward rather than horizontal drilling and couldn't break through the hard rock surrounding the well.
This is still a very dangerous procedure. It is a time they want to be very careful with it. They do not want anything to go wrong here.
The only solution was to use an experimental technique called water jet cutting to cut through the rock.
Hearing the child cry while you're drilling is just absolute agony.
Finally, the rescue operation was underway. Over the next 58 hours, rescuers worked around the clock, taking shifts, digging and drilling into the well. The complicated operation drew national attention, with people across the US watching the unfolding drama on live television.
We've been anxious. The eyes, the hearts, the minds of people around the world have been on Jessica McClure underground.
In 1987, this was one of the first events to be covered live on news networks. Baby Jessica was dubbed everybody's baby. Finally, after days of intense effort, rescuers were able to reach Jessica.
A paramedic armed with a tube of KY jelly and an obstetrician's forceps was lowered down the shaft.
Here she comes. There's clapping.
Jessica McClure is up. She's alive. What a fighter.
Robert O'Donnell, a paramedic with a slim build, was the one to crawl into the tunnel and bring Jessica to the surface.
I got KY jelly up in there, and it was just a slow, steady pull. In fact, I had to slow up some right at the end to get everything underneath, and she slid right out.
She was immediately rushed to a hospital.
It looks as though her forehead is badly scraped, but her eyes are open.
Doctors feared they would have to amputate her foot after it had been stuck over her head for such a long time. Luckily, they only had to amputate one toe. Jessica also had a wound on her head from where it rubbed against the casing of the well. She spent several weeks in the hospital before returning home. She's since grown up and started her own family. Jessica retained no memories of the incident, but it remains a big part of who she is today.
The term Baby Jessica, it is still an everyday thing. I actually told a lady the other day at work that I was the little girl that fell in the well, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, you're Baby Jessica." And I was like, "Yes, ma'am."
Tragically, the rescue did claim one victim. Robert O'Donnell, who pulled Jessica out of the well, developed PTSD and committed suicide 7 years later.